So, I finally did it. It's embarrassing to admit that I have finally seen The Lord of the Rings, and I'm going to talk about it. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel, and this is a little bit of a different video. I had never seen The Lord of the Rings trilogy in its entirety. I know, me being a big movie fan, how could this have happened? Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about that a little later on in the video. I finally got a chance to watch it with my wife over the past few days, and I gotta say that this trilogy is everything people have told me. It is absolutely amazing. This is one of the top two greatest trilogies of all time. Not number one, Star Wars, the original trilogy, will always be number one to me, but The Lord of the Rings is truly something magnificent. It is absolutely incredible, and I cannot believe that I've left this out of my life for so long. Now, I'm not going to talk about each and every film individually. I'm not going to do a review on every single film. It's basically me just giving my thoughts on this trilogy and how it really took my expectations and completely just shattered them and said, no, watch this. This is going to be absolutely incredible. It is bigger and better than everything I've ever heard. I'm just so flabbergasted that I had never seen it before. Having that opportunity to watch it for the first time was pretty amazing. I'm the type of person, when I'm in the theater and I'm with other movie fans and we're all just kind of hyped up, something like Avengers or something even like Star Wars, and we're all just hyped up and we're watching and we're in the theater, we're enjoying each other's company. The atmosphere is just amazing that I cheer. And I've never really found myself cheering in a movie at home per se. But this movie completely changed that. It completely changed that. I was engulfed with this story, with these characters, with everything about Middle Earth. Like, I am a Middle Earther now, if that's what you even call it. This is incredible. This is something that is monumental. This is better than Avengers. This is better than the MCU. This is up there in the elite level of filmmaking. This is so good. And it's incredible to me that we have three movies that stand up on their own, and they're all coherent, and they're all so good. They're all so well constructed. They never feel long. The 3-hour runtime on all these movies, except for the third one, which is 3.5 hours, and this is just the theatrical editions. I have not watched the extended editions. That is for another day. I will definitely get to that very soon because I'm very interested. But the theatrical editions, watching all of them, I never felt bored. I never felt the runtime. These movies truly felt perfect with the way that they were able to craft and to be able to manipulate the runtime in such a way that the viewer never even notices that 3 hours has gone by. They're manipulating you by giving you awesome stuff jam-packed in this trilogy. This is amazing stuff. And essentially, my wife and I, we just ate it up. You know, she really enjoyed it. It was a little too violent for her, which I get. There's a lot of beheading. There's a giant spider in Return of the King, which, you know, really, she didn't even watch the screen. She hates spiders that much. And so it's something that is just so epic, and I love it so freaking much. The Return of the King is the best film in this trilogy, but all three films are incredible. It's almost a toss of a coin if you have any of these as your favorite, because no matter what, they're all incredible films. But Return of the King has won, and it's tied for the most Oscar wins in one night. It won 11 Academy Awards. It swept at the Oscars, and it won Best Picture and Best Director for Peter Jackson. And I gotta say, Peter Jackson, hands down, what an incredible job this guy did. They couldn't have gotten anybody better, in my opinion. You can obviously tell the passion that this guy had for the books. This guy had such a passion for J.R. Tolkien and for these characters and this story that he was able to perfectly execute it into a trilogy of films that work so coherently well. They are so good, and you never lose track of where you are. It feels like the movie following the predecessor always feels very consistent and always starts off at the exact moment you left off at the other film. And that's what's amazing about it, is that, and I understand that they shot all of these simultaneously, like back to back to back, I get that. It's all shot in accordance with the way that they wanted it. But there's still a craftsmanship about that. In terms of the editing, in terms of the sound design, the score is iconic. One of the greatest scores I've ever heard in any trilogy of films. I mean, it's up there with John Williams and Star Wars to me. It's so aggressive and it's so just immersive, and it brings you into this like world in such a way that is so different than a lot of other trilogies or a lot of other films. Like even Jurassic Park, which is one of my also all-time favorite scores. If you can't tell, I'm a huge John Williams fan. But what they end up doing with Lord of the Rings, with the score, is just so much on a seismic level greater than most of the other films I've seen within probably the past 20 years. I love this franchise. I know I've said that like 15 times, but I love it. Everything about it is just absolutely incredible. There's not a negative. No one film in this trilogy is bad. Like, not even prequels in Star Wars has that to hang on their mantle. Not even the sequel trilogy of Star Wars has that to hang on their mantle. Even arguably Toy Story, you could pick apart certain aspects of those films. Whereas like this trilogy, it's hard to pick apart anything. They did everything they needed to do to escalate the story and move it forward. And let me just say, one of the greatest lines ever of all time is Aragorn in Return of the King. And it made me cry. I'm not even kidding. I had tears running down my face. This was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in any film. At the end of Return of the King, Aragorn is crowned the king. Rightfully so. No one else is more rightfully suited to be a king than Aragorn. And Aragorn is walking by and people are just bowing to him. And then all the four hobbits, Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin, and they all bow to Aragorn. And Aragorn, I have chills just thinking about it right now. Like literally my back is just like, I have chills running up and down my back. Aragorn looks at them and he says, "My friends, you bow to no one." Everyone bows to them. Like, oh my gosh. What an incredible line. I had tears running down my face. Like it was the most beautiful thing ever, like I had ever seen. It was amazing. And not even Star Wars can make me cry like that scene did in this film. And that is powerful. It's powerful. And you're dang right, freaking Aragorn is a beast. I was like, freak yes! Like that is exactly what you want, because these four hobbits changed everything for these people. They saved everybody. And yeah, Aragorn and Legolas, Gimli, who is honestly one of my favorite characters in any film franchise. Obviously, they had a big hand in helping, save Middle Earth. But these four hobbits, I mean, it's really about them and their journeys and the way that they are actually heroes. And then they go home and it's like no one even knew that they saved them. And it's almost sad in a way. But it's incredible. It's incredible the emotion you feel, especially towards the end, because you've really been on this journey this entire time with all of these characters, and it's satisfying. Every single way in which these characters get their resolution, have their ending, and have their reward is so satisfying. Sam gets married. Sam to me is the hero, man. Sam, he's my favorite Hobbit, okay? Sean Astin is amazing. I love him as an actor. And this might be my favorite character he's ever played. And that's like saying a lot, because he's done Goonies, he did Stranger Things as Bob. But I've loved him as Sam. He is truly the hero. He has so much courage, and he gets married to the woman of his dreams. Like, that's amazing. That is amazing. And you're just like, yeah, Sam, like, it's so awesome that like you get so invested in these characters and so invested in this epic trilogy. The action is visceral and it's in your face and it's incredible. It's awesome. It's so awesome. I cannot wait to watch these movies again. I'm speechless almost now. Like, I don't know what else to say. But let me talk about why it took me so long, why I had never seen this trilogy before this past week. And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be upfront with you guys as much as I can be. Now, I'm going to be honest. My parents, they owned all three of these movies on DVD. I had them in my house. I had multiple opportunities to watch these films. I had seen bits and pieces of almost every single film, especially The Two Towers. I remember seeing a lot of certain aspects from that film, especially with the Treebeard and the other trees taking down Solomon and all the destruction that the orcs had set up at that point. I remember having seen that, and then I remember a lot from the Fellowship of the Ring as well. But the reason why I never watched these movies, I never sat down and gave my full attention to these films, is not because I was never interested. It was truly because I never thought I'd have the time. I never felt the motivation to watch something that was 3 hours long. And when I was younger, I didn't really like watching movies that were very long. It was very hard for me to sit still in one place. Even though I was a huge movie fan, I liked a lot of movies that were quick and easy, and I could kind of put them in and watch with friends. Whereas like The Lord of the Rings to me never felt like it was something that I could truly like sit down and watch with friends and be able to continually be invested and continually stay awake. And I remember trying to watch the first Hobbit film and falling asleep at an hour and a half mark, not because I was bored, but because I was so tired. And I think that once I got a little older and I got more mature, I think that my capacity to be able to sit down and actually like watch an entire film, even no matter how long it is, it could be The Irishman, which is 3.5 hours long, or it could be, you know, a film that's an hour and a half long. I think that I have that capacity now, whereas before I didn't. And I always knew that if I wanted to watch The Lord of the Rings, I had to give my utmost attention to every single detail, because everything that I had heard from this trilogy, I didn't want to watch these movies and not give them the full effort that they deserved. And so I'm happy that I almost waited in a way, so that way I could give them the attention that they wanted and that they deserved. And it works perfectly. In the situation that we're in, it's a terrible situation, being quarantined and, you know, living kind of almost in fear. As long as you wash your hands and you stay away from people and keep your distance, you should be okay. But it almost worked perfectly that my wife and I had been quarantined, and so we had time to actually sit down and watch these films that before we probably never would have had the time, because we were so busy with school or work or other obligations that it almost seemed insurmountable to be able to go ahead and pile on 10-hour plus runtime of film and be able to sit there and comprehend every single detail. And so that is why I had never seen this trilogy before. I just never really had the time, and I always wanted to make sure that this trilogy, which is so beloved and is so almost worshipped in a way, I wanted to make sure that I gave it the time and the energy and my entire attention, because that's what it deserves. So if you're someone like me who has never seen The Lord of the Rings, or had never seen The Lord of the Rings, or maybe only seen bits and pieces, you need to find time to give this your entire attention, because this is a trilogy of film that is absolutely incredible. And I am so happy that I was able to watch it for the first time. I lost my Lord of the Rings virginity, and it has never felt so much better. Anyway, guys, that is all I wanted to share. I know that you guys are probably like confused and astounded by the fact that I had never seen The Lord of the Rings, and I proclaim myself as a film fan. But now I wrote that wrong. Done, it's over. I conquered the beast that is The Lord of the Rings, and let me just say, it was one of the greatest adventures I'd ever been on in my entire life. Let me know down below in the comment section what you guys think about my thoughts, and if you are surprised that I had never seen The Lord of the Rings until this past week. Let me know what you guys think also about The Lord of the Rings. Let's talk about it, because this is a trilogy of films that has really just changed a lot of my perspective on filmmaking. It's incredible. The Return of the King, it's almost 20 years old. Almost 20 years old, and yet it's better than most films that come out now in terms of CGI and in terms of like visual effects and action. It's amazing to me how much this film holds up and how much this trilogy of films holds up. Make sure you guys drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel for more content, not quite like this, but more on the movie review type of basis. I will see you guys in my next video, and make sure that you guys stay safe.